mistakes. I know I made a few, but I'm only human. You've made mistakes too. I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for this Hilda hat. We got it in white on black and black on black. Oh, thank you. I just got to cash up. Thank you, my lady. And if you are not already a part of Opera Club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Smokey Inside My Life by Smokey Robinson with David Ritz. Early on, I saw that my own singing voice, so naturally high, might have some guys calling me girlish. But who cared when the girls ate it up like candy? I was raised in a dazzling den of doo-wop, seduced by the silver sounds of Harvey and the Moonglows. Me and my pals would memorize their background blends. Don't forget that Harvey Fuqua is the man that gave us Marvin Gaye and the man that was cheating on Etta James with one of Berry Gordy's sisters. Me and my pals would memorize their background blends. The Dells, Flamingos, Spaniels, Sonny Till and the Oreos, Lee Andrews and the Hearts, Heavenly Harmony, 5 different parts merged like magic was in the air. Pleasing the ear was the aim. The 4 Aims, later the 4 Tops, was the baddest group around. I was raised when the quality of street music was extremely high. There was no screaming, no faking, no farting around. If you couldn't sing, forget it. But if you could, women were yours. Ooh. That is the Smokey's special set of skills. I could imagine sucking Smokey Robinson's face while he's singing in that high-ass voice. Ooh, baby, baby. I remember once looking out the window and seeing this long limo arriving on our block. Who is it? I asked myself, thinking it had to be the mayor or the governor. Turned out to be someone even more important, Jackie Wilson. Jackie was a local hero, the cat who took Clyde McFadder's place with the Dominoes. He'd been a leader of the Shakers, one of Detroit's most notorious gangs. Did we know this, y'all? Did we know that Jackie Wilson was a part of a gang? He'd also been a Golden Glove boxer. He could sing high, low, and every which way. With his smooth moves and natural polish, he could outdance Fred Astaire. He was rugged handsome, had processed hair, and big, flashy eyes. When I saw him that day on our street visiting his cousins, it was like seeing some God. See, in my neighborhood, we idolized the entertainers, the preachers, and the pimps. They were the ones with the sharp clothes, the Cadillac cars, the fine women. They had the glory. It was glory we were seeking at Northern High School when we formed a group called the 5 Chimes. Glory, or at least the love of ladies. This was the group that would eventually evolve into the Miracles. The first formation was me, Warren, Pete Moore. I'd known Pete since we were 13. Clarence Humble Dawson, James Rat Grice, and Donald Wicker. Wick was soon replaced by Ronnie White. Ron lived across the street from Rat. I'd known him from way back. At age 11, he'd been our paperboy and powerfully interested in Sylvia. That's his cousin / sister. When Humble quit, we replaced him with Emerson Sonny Rogers. This group was good enough to win Ed McKenzie's local TV talent contest. We wanted to stay fixed on 5 voices, but 5 became 4 again when Rat revealed wedding plans. His chick was pregnant, and as far as singing, Rat was history. Got a cousin, said Sonny, who sings his ass off. Bring him round to rehearsal, I said. Bobby Rogers rounded out the group. We were set. Bobby, Pete, Ron, Sonny, and Smokey. We practiced hard, even changed our name to the Matadors, thinking that sounded more manly. Manliness was important to me. When I was 14, a year before, John Oliver ruined my ribs, child, because Smokey was an athlete. One of his ways of proving his manliness was to be an athlete, child. He did the football. And a dude hit his ass real hard. When I was 14, a year before, John Oliver ruined my ribs. The 5 chimes were going to Sonny Rogers to rehearse. Hadn't been there before. I was curious about the street he lived on because it was called Warren Court. I expected to see fabulous mansions like on Boston Boulevard where Cecil and Aretha stayed. But all I saw was an unpaved country-looking road on the outskirts of Black Bottom, Detroit's poorest section. There were but 6 houses on the whole block. Sonny was there to greet us. Come on in. I want you to meet my sister and mom. They're down in the basement. They were both ravishing. Viola, voluptuous. Claudette, petite and pretty. Claudette, and why you ain't saying Miss Viola, Smokey? I know you got manners, boy. They were both ravishing. Viola, voluptuous. Claudette, petite and pretty. Claudette had a gentle, exquisite big brown eyes, a little bitty waistline, and nice rounded hips. It wasn't just her mouth that smiled. It was her whole face. She was a cutie pie, a fox, flipping me out the first time I saw her. For a year, I loved her from afar. I had other girlfriends and even lost my virginity, but not with Claudette. Claudette was unapproachable. She was almost too beautiful, too angelic. She was also deeply shy and absolutely brilliant in school. I was smitten, but intimidated. She was around us all the time. She had a lovely singing voice and was a great dancer. In fact, together with Bobby's sister Jeanette and 2 other girls, Gwen and Margie, she started a sister group called the Matadorettes. But somehow I could never get next to her until the summer of 1955. It was a guy who came around who was like partners with my cousin. And years later, he told me I couldn't let your cousin know that I wanted you because he would have got in between that because he knew that I had some things going on and he didn't want you to be a part of it. Just recently, I told my cousin that back in the day, back in the 80s, I was messing with one of his friends. Okay? My cousin was like, what? Do you know what that ninja is capable of? I was like, okay, so I know now. But back then, I wanted me some of his friend. And his friend wanted some of me. So we had dated each other secretly because we didn't want my cousin to know. I'm sure her brother knows how dirty Smokey's dick is. So I'm like, how's he going to pull this off? The summer of 1955, the gang was all there, celebrating Claudette's birthday over at Rogers' house on Warren Court. I couldn't keep my eyes off the birthday girl. The way her face lit up when she laughed, the way her eyes smiled, the way she walked and talked so softly, the way she danced so sweet and sexy. Finally, I asked her to go out on the front porch with me. I think what else makes Smokey special, like his skills, is the fact that he appreciates the woman's whole being. And I think that's his Piscean man nature. He's just not looking at her boobs or, how big her butt and her hips is. He's looking at her soul. And I don't feel like he's like Marvin Gaye, whereas he wants to find the purest angel in the sky and then drag her down to the depths of hell with him. I think he just appreciates everything about a woman. And I think that's what give him the special set of skills as to how he can sing and verbalize his emotions to women. You fill me up. Ooh, there was a warm breeze in the air. The night was clear, the city quiet. We heard muffled noises from the party. The kids slow dancing to Johnny Aces, pledging my love. Happy birthday, Claudette. Thanks, Smokey. By the way, how old are you? 18. Holy shit. I thought to myself, she's 3 years older than me. I don't have a chance with this chick. Later, I learned that she was pushing her age up. In truth, she just graduated from Commerce High School at 15. She was so smart. She'd skipped 3 years. She would have skipped 4 if Miss Viola Smokey, motherfucking better, Miss Viola hadn't complained that they were accelerating her too quickly. Look, Claudette, I said, building up nerve, I really like you. You do? She sounded genuinely surprised. I do. I really, really do. I never knew. And I'd like to kiss you goodnight. Would that be okay? She hesitated, considering my request. You can kiss me goodnight, Smokey. I reached out to her, my heart pounding like crazy. Our lips met. But when I tried to slip my tongue in her mouth, she clamped up and pulled back. What's wrong? I asked. I don't want to kiss you like that. I'm sorry, I said, seeing her inexperience when it came to sex. But can I take you out or something? I'd like that, she assured me. Yeah. Yes, the Smokey. Ooh, Smokey. Ooh. We started dating, ice skating at Palmer Park, bowling at the 20 Grand, dancing at the Madison Ballroom. Soon I came down on her for the sexy. I knew it was coming. I didn't have a chance. Claudette was naive, but intent on saving herself for marriage. I didn't like that. I was ready and raring to go. I have to deal with some other girls, I explained. And Claudette was just like me. So, go do what you need to do. I know I ain't fucking you. So you might as well go on out there and do it. And if you really like me, you'll hang around. When I was 11, 5 taught me to drive, took me to this resort area in Canada and showed me on his standard shift 1950 Ford. When I was 16, 5 took me by surprise, arriving home in an old 1946 Ford. Whose car is that? I wanted to know. Yours. What? Go ahead and drive it like a jet pilot. Leaping into the cockpit, I flew behind the wheel and zoomed round the neighborhood, honking at my friends to pile in. There was room for 3 up front. 4 could squeeze in the back, and even though 5 warned against it, some pals rode the running board. This is the Hawk, I told my partners, the name coming to me in a flash. The Hawk was my baby. The Hawk represented a new kind of freedom, a leap from being a boy to a playboy, a guy who could cruise anywhere he wanted. The Hawk was deep. I treated the Hawk like a partner. The Hawk became my best friend. I talked to the Hawk. I even dressed the Hawk, working extra hard to buy accessories I considered especially cool. I was earning money at Mrs. Wiggins' Two Sisters Unique. Also worked as a messenger for Western Union. And I was into hair processing. See, Cecil Franklin had been doing the dues for the boys in the neighborhood. He charged less than the barbershops, $2 against their $7. And his work was fantastic. He showed me how to make the waves with the comb and then set it with my finger. Soon, you mean finger waves? It was men's back there wearing the finger waves? Girl! Soon I became a skilled doer myself. When Cecil went off to Morehouse College, he turned his clientele over to me. I liked anything that brought me to the attention of the girls. And though I was enjoying sex with a couple of chicks, you hear 'em? A couple of chicks. Ooh. My thoughts stayed on Claudette. She was my heart. She was also driving me crazy. Claudette's sexiness wasn't doing me any good. And to make matters worse, she'd met someone else, a guy named Raleigh Hall. I was 16. Raleigh was 20. I was a high school kid. Raleigh was an army man. And oh man, jealousy spread over me like a torrid fever. I was afraid of being shot down even after Raleigh went off to Germany. He was a soldier and I was a nobody. You ain't a nobody, Smokey. You wasn't a nobody, baby. Maybe you felt like a nobody to Claudette, but them other ladies that you knocking down, I'm sure you are everything, Smokey. Everything. All things in the one, Smokey. He was writing her twice a week, and soon I learned he was asking her to marry him. And Lord, if she did, I'd die. This was the girl of my dreams, and suddenly it looked like my dream was turning into a nightmare. Soon she'd be gone. You like this guy, don't you? I'd asked. He's nice, she answered. Extremely nice.